How many of you have a 401k? Okay, you're gonna get this 401k, and they handed me this piece of paper and they said, and now you need to invest the money. And it had all this list of investments on it. I didn't know anything about it, so I closed my eyes, I put my finger down on the paper, and I said, that one. And they put my 401k money into this investment vehicle. I had no idea what it was. It might have been invested in Monsanto. It might have been invested in RJ Reynolds. It might have been invested in things that I completely and totally don't agree with in the world. Trillions of dollars because people are completely disconnected from their money. That was me. Fortunately, I had an awakening, as I'm sure many of you have had, and I began to see that what I had been told was a lie, that the American dream was actually a nightmare. And it really happened when I met this man that I call the $100 million man. I figured the $100 million man, he's got $100 million. He must be free, right? He could do whatever he wants. All of my decisions, many of my decisions were based on money. How much do I have? How much do I need? Do I have enough for retirement? Do I have enough to send my kids to college? Am I out of debt? So I figured, well, if I have $100 million, then I'll be free. So this man, he must be free. The $100 million man was the most stuck, trapped, unfree human I have ever met. All he could talk about was money, where his money was, what kind of currency it was in, how he could get access to it, and he was still working constantly to make more. His marriage was based on money. A woman married him for his money, stayed married to him just long enough to get divorced and get what was hers. The compass of their lives became money. When I saw this, I realized we've been fed a bunch of lies. We've been fed a bunch of lies. We've trapped ourselves, enslaved ourselves to the system out of a quest to get something that actually has no value. It is meaningless, other than it allows us to exchange. It allows us to trade. It allows us to receive what we need in exchange for what we have. But too many of us have a disease around money. I call it money dysmorphia. Do you know anyone with money dysmorphia? What is it? Money dysmorphia is the distorted view we have of our finances that cause us to make poor decisions around time, energy, and attention. Our relationships, our non-renewable assets. Once we spend our time, once we spend our energy, once we spend our attention, once we spend our relationships, they're gone. Money is infinite. We can always make more. One day, we probably won't even exchange money. We'll look back and we'll laugh. Remember when we traded those paper strips? Because we didn't know how to actually be in relationship with what we need and what we have, and how to have what we need by giving fully of ourselves in each moment. So we had to store our energy in this form of these paper strips, but then it became distorted. We lost sight of what's really important. One day it will no longer be necessary. But today we are in transition times. We're in the shift right now. We are evolving. We are creating this new economy. It does not exist right now. It has never existed before. We decide what that reality is going to look like based on how we be in this now moment. The choices we make, how we interact with our time, our energy, our attention, our relationships. Our resources, I call them our team. Time, energy, attention, and money. These are the resources that we have to bring into the world. And many of us are wasting them because we're putting money first. So how can we be in these transition times and make a shift? Make the kind of shift that we want to see in the world, that we want to see for our children, where Our time, energy, and attention are valued far more highly than those paper strips. It begins with really understanding what we truly need. The financial services industry is lying to us. Who gets rich based on what the financial services industry is telling us, based on what the media is telling us, to stay out of debt, to save for retirement, to save for college, to use these vehicles, to save taxes, using these vehicles that trap our money, disconnect us from the resources. Who gets rich from that? Anybody know? The financial services industry. The people who are selling the products, the people who are creating the products, and now the vast majority of our wealth in money form is trapped in the top 1%. But the truth is that that's not where our wealth is. That is not where our wealth is. Our wealth is right here in each one of you. Your time, your energy, your attention is far more valuable than any amount of money that you have in the bank. You are far more valuable than any amount of money you have in the bank. So, how do we convert that value that you're holding inside of yourself into something that truly makes change in the world? How many of you have a dream? How many of you have a vision of creating something truly impactful in the world? What is holding you back from doing that right now? Money. You think it's money. Of course, we think it's money. It's not. It's a misunderstanding about how easy it is to get money. Money is easy to get. I want you to repeat that thought in your mind right now. Money is easy to get. Money is easy to get. Money is easy to get. Are you willing to say it out loud? Money is easy to get. 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 If you feel a little nauseous while you're saying it, keep saying it. Say it louder. Money is easy to get. 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 I want you to keep repeating that mantra to yourself anytime you get afraid of not having enough. Remind yourself, money is easy to get. What does it take? What does it take to get the resources that you need to activate your full potential that is inside of you right now, just waiting to burst forth and create? Create something that's actually going to create the world that you want to live in. That your future self is calling to you right now and saying, hey, I'm here. Come to me. Create for me. Build for me. Get out of your own way. What will it take? It takes for you to know your value. Know what you've got is worth the investment because the money is out there. So how do you activate that money? First and foremost, you've got to move beyond the perception that you need to save for later. There is no later. Later is now. There is only this now moment. There's only this now moment. You don't need to save for later when you know that you can earn what you need when you need it on demand, being all of who you are. The only reason you think that you need to save for later is because you're not sure that you can actually create what you need when you need it. You don't trust. I was there for a long time. It still comes up sometimes. Oh God, I gotta hold on to it. I gotta hold on to it because I might not have it. But that just creates more of the same. It holds you back from giving all of what you have each day. We learn from nature, permaculture. Give it all. Give it all. Give everything that you have every day so that you start the next day empty, creating that vacuum to be filled, trusting and knowing that it will be filled when you give all of who you are. So stop saving for the future. Start investing all of what you have today to create the world that you want to live in now. I'm going to take questions in a few minutes. That might be a question that you want to ask. something about that, because that's deep conditioning we have to save for the future. Very deep conditioning. The $100 million man, what is he doing? What is he saving all of that for? It is sitting there in various forms of currency, losing value in every moment. We store our most valuable resources in the form of paper, silver, gold, heavy shit like we can't even carry with us if we need to. What are the true valuable resources? Community, creativity, resourcefulness, relationships. These are your most valuable resources that can never be taken away from you. So stop saving in forms that don't actually have any value. Give it all today. Give it all to the relationships that are actually going to support you to create something in the world that will keep giving back to you for the rest of your life and beyond. Like, not even this lifetime. For your future self.
What's your legacy?
What's your legacy? Exactly. Create that legacy today by how you show up in the present moment. Not by scarcity, hoarding, holding on, but by giving it all. Giving it all in service. Now, of course, use discernment. Don't throw it away. Don't waste yourself. Know your value. Know that what you're putting your time, your energy, your attention, and your money, your team resources into actually are going to create something valuable. Now, what happens if that doesn't happen? Every experience you have is a learning, growing, and evolving experience. Every single decision you make teaches you something. That is part of your legacy. When you learn it, capture it, write it down, make a video, pass it on, teach somebody else. It's worth it. The mistakes are worth it. We learn by making mistakes. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Make a lot of them. Make them fast, make them furious, and welcome them, knowing that you are here to learn, grow, and evolve. So, no more saving for the future. The next one's a little bit radical. I want you all to take on a lot of debt. A lot. I want you to get out of this mindset that debt enslaves you. It does not. That is a lie. Debt does not enslave you. Perhaps you enslave yourself by being a slave to the idea that debt enslaves you, but debt does not enslave you one iota. Debt, credit is a resource that's available to you. I want you all to die in debt to the system. I want you to die having borrowed so much and then have put it into the best creative projects you possibly can, that when you die, you've created something so beautiful and you haven't paid back the money. Who cares? Who cares if you die in debt? Who cares? What have you? No, they don't. Because what you will have taught them is that they can create too. Your children don't need what you're leaving behind financially. Now, let me tell you, my background is an estate planning attorney. I was an estate planning attorney and asset protection attorney for many years. I still teach estate planning attorneys a new way of working with their clients, where I'm teaching these estate planning attorneys how to break free. It's a slow process. How to break free of the idea that the most important thing we can leave behind is money. Money is the least important thing that we can leave behind. It is losing value every day. It's probably invested in ways that your kids are going to get it and squander it anyway because you haven't actually passed on the values that they need to make a real difference in the world with it. What I want to see you pass on is not your money. I want to see you pass on your creative power. I want you to see you pass on their empowerment, letting them know that they don't have to be afraid, that they don't have to work their whole life for money, that they can work for their dreams, that they could create a world that truly works for everyone, that they could give it all every day, that they don't have to fight with people about money, that they don't have to hoard their resources, they don't have to waste their energy on conflict trying to get what's theirs. That's what I want you to pass on. I don't want you to leave them money. Now, if you got it, great, fine, but I'd much rather see it be converted into something that's true to their hearts, that's true to your heart. So this concept of debt is a radical one, because We have been conditioned to believe that it enslaves us, and it does based on what we think and how we use it. But what if you could have $50,000 financed by the old economy, invested in you? What would you do with that? Now, maybe the reality is that you don't trust yourself. Maybe that's what's true. Maybe you don't trust yourself to use that $50,000 or $100,000 or $1 million or whatever it is in a way that will truly create something of value in the world. Great, we can work with that. We can work with how do you build trust in yourself so that you know that you're going to use your resources in a way that actually makes an impact in the world. That is something we can address. That is something that you can address. You can begin to feel into yourself, oh, I don't actually trust myself. Why? Well, maybe because your parents don't trust you. Maybe because your parents have conditioned you to believe that you are not trustworthy with money. Why would they do that? Did they do that on purpose? No, this is genetic conditioning. It is passed on for eons. Why? Because they don't trust themselves. Why don't they trust themselves? Because their parents didn't trust themselves. It is time to reclaim our trust. It is time to take back the truth of who we are and recognize that you can create from your heart. You are trustworthy. And even if you lost $1 million, believe me, I've lost way more than $1 million. Way more than $1 million. I'm okay with it. Why? Because what I have learned as a result of losing millions of dollars over the years, and listen, I didn't come from money. How did I lose millions of dollars? I borrowed money, I built businesses, I lost the money, I learned, I grew, I evolved from those mistakes. Those lessons that I learned from that investment can never be taken away from me. Those lessons get passed on through my genetic code to my children who are right here, learning from me right now. That can never be taken away from them. They will go on to create with those lessons. Those lessons are far more valuable than the millions of dollars that slipped through my fingers over the years. Why? Because I am worthy of that investment. They are worthy of that investment. You are worthy of that investment. Money is infinite. We can always make more. What can we not make more of? Time, energy, attention. Once you spend it, it is gone. That is where you want to be really feeling, where is the best place for my time, energy, and attention to go that feels really good, that I know is creating something of true value in the world. And I don't mean surface good. Okay, so one of the things that we really have to begin to understand is what is the difference between like surface, momentary, feel good, numb the pain, put a salve on it, and like deep down, wow, I've actually just changed my cellular being. I've actually just created something in the world that feels amazing, that I know is creating more of the world that I want to live in. Let's talk about this festival for a moment. Is this year 5 of the festival? The first 3 years, I believe, they didn't make money. They lost money. They were investing in this festival, in creating something of value here that we are all now experiencing so we can have a transformational experience. What if they had said, no, we're losing money. We're not going to do it. Oh, forget it. It just costs too much money. But they didn't do that. They were willing to lose money knowing that what we're creating here is of true value in the world. Now, have they started making money? Yes, after I think 3-4 years, they finally start making money. But what are they going to do with that money? The people who created this festival, what are they going to do with that money? They're going to put it right back in to creating more transformational experiences for us, for each other. Stephen Brooks, one of the founders of the festival, he's going to put it right back in to his development projects. Ecovia up near San Jose, Punta Mona out on the Caribbean side. His parents are here, Norman and Bonnie. Hi, you guys. Right? They're investing in their child, Stephen, with their child to do these things together. How many of you have parents who are hoarding their money? Yeah. She was saving for you. They think that's what they're doing. They think that's what they're doing. They're hoarding their money to save for us. So that's the next way that you can activate the resources of the old economy, right? So we've got 2 ways so far. Stop saving for the future in a way that doesn't actually create anything. Tap into the credit system so that you can invest in yourself in ways that can never be taken away from you. And then the third way is activate your parents' resources. Right now, your parents are hoarding their money. They think they're doing it so that they could save for your future, so they could save for their future. The truth is they're doing it because they don't trust. They have not been taught to trust. And there's ways that the dynamic between you and them is reinforcing that they can't trust. They look at you and they're like, oh, I'm not going to get taken care of. I better hoard all my money so that my money can take care of me. But then what happens? Then they've got enough money to pay for a semi-nice nursing home at the end of their lives, dying maybe in a hospital, alone in exactly the way that they don't want to. Is that really the lives that we want? No. Nobody wants to die in a nursing home or a hospital, and yet that's what we think is the only alternative. So we have to save. We have to save all our money so that we can have that. That's what we're creating. That doesn't make any sense at all. Instead, what can we do? We could show our parents that we are worthy investments because we are going to take care of them in a way that will actually create what they want for the rest of their lives. That they could trust us. That they can invest everything that they've created now. They don't have to wait till they die. Now, this is a really hard conversation because it brings up all of our insecurity to ask our parents to invest in us. I mean, if you ask your parent to invest in you and your parent says no, well, you must be a horrible human being, right? That's what came up for me. About 1.5 years ago, I wanted my mom to invest in me. And this was terrifying. Because I had made some bad money decisions throughout my life. I had also made some really good money decisions throughout my life, but I knew that my mom would focus on the bad ones because, you know, that's what moms do sometimes, right? They're kind of afraid and, you know, they project their own insecurity out on you, right? So in every way that my mom was insecure financially or insecure about her own ability to create amazing things in the world, she just projected that out on me. So, like, how could she actually really trust that I would be able to make good money decisions if she didn't feel like she was making good money decisions, if she didn't feel like she raised me to make good money decisions, if she didn't feel like my dad raised me to make good money decisions? So all of that insecurity and lack of trust is in there, and I know it. And I know that she's going to reflect back to me anywhere I don't trust myself. So that when I go to her and I say, hey, Mom, will you invest in me? Any place that I am afraid, any place that I am insecure, any place that I'm holding the patterning of those bad money decisions, which in truth were not bad. They were bad by the old economy cultural paradigm, not by the new economy cultural paradigm. All that's going to get reflected back to me. So I go to her and I say, Mom, I would really like you to invest in me. I want to create a show. It's going to be called The Whole Truth Show, and I need $150,000 to do it. And she said no. I knew she was going to say no. I knew she was going to say no. So, of course, she said no. She said, I don't have it. You know, I only have a couple $100,000 in retirement, and I need that for my retirement because that's all I have. Now, here's the truth about that couple $100,000 she has in retirement. What is that actually going to do for her? What is a couple $100,000 in retirement going to do for a woman who earns about $75,000 a year as an art teacher? She's 70 years old. She's probably going to live at least another 20, 25 years, right? David Wolf is on stage after me. If it's up to him, she'd live another 50 years. Listen, if y'all are going for longevity, you better get this money thing handled because otherwise, you know, those last 30 to 50 years are not going to be super fun. Might as well die young, if that's the life that you're creating. So she said, you know, what is this $200,000 really going to do for her? It's going to run out. It's not enough. Unless she takes that $200,000 and she does something with it that actually creates the life that she wants to have. Unless she does something with it that actually creates the world that she wants to live in. Now, what is that world? It looks like travel, it looks like time with her grandkids, it looks like time with me. Now, I did understand that there's no way she was partying with that $200,000. That just was not going to happen. So what I said is, listen, I understand that's your security. I don't want to take your security, but there's another way. You can actually tap into something called business credit. If you have a good credit score, how many of you right now know you or someone very close to you who is actually very invested in your future has a good credit score? Okay, every single one of you that has your hand up, I want you to use business credit. So let me tell you a little bit about business credit and what is so awesome about it. So if you have a good personal credit score, or somebody close to you has a good personal credit score, they can apply for business credit. The awesome thing about it is that it uses your personal credit score to get access to the credit, but then you can use all of the business credit up to the max, and it will not hurt your personal credit score as long as you're making the payments. So I said, Mom, you can tap into this business credit. You could start a company. She already has a business. She's a jewelry designer. She's an art teacher. I love supporting local artists, by the way. I hope that all of you are buying everything that you can from the people that are here, local artists, not from the stores. I'm sure you already are. So she already has a business, but she started another business that's with me this time. So we're doing this together. And she uses her personal credit score, and we got about $120,000 of business credit. Now I have all these credit cards in my bag with the business credit on it. Every time I use that card, it does not report on her personal credit score. So she could still buy a house, she could still buy a car, she could still do everything that she was going to do before. This was an untapped resource. Access to $120,000 of capital. How many of you that raised your hand and said, I have a good personal credit score, or know somebody who does, have a dream that you could put $150,000 into and know that you're going to create something of amazing value in the world? These resources are out there for you now. You don't have to wait. Money does not have to be the compass that determines where you go. It can be the fuel for your journey to get there. That's the shift you're going to make. Money is easy to get. Money is easy to get. Money is easy to get. Please come back to that and remember. So she said, okay. She said, okay, luckily I have this whole conversation on video. One day I'll release it because it's an important one to show how I was in this conversation with my mom. How at first she said no. She was scared. She didn't want to invest in me. All of her insecurities about me and whether she'll be taken care of for her lifetime came up. I was able to meet her in that, understand where she was coming from, completely get that, you know, one day she's going to be not able to work. She's going to be not able to earn income. And right now she's earning $75,000 a year as an art teacher. She's probably got 1 year left. I was able to understand that and help her to see that by investing in me, she can open up the doors to a life that she really wants for the next 20 to 25 years. A world where we create something together. What parent doesn't want that? Your parents want to create with you. Your parents want to be in relationship with you in a way that feels good to them. Your parents want to trust you, to take care of them. That's what they want. And if you can show them that you can meet them there, they will say yes to investing in you. Now, it might require you to do some inner work. The inner work of where you don't trust yourself, where you don't actually believe that you could create that. You can do that inner work. Perhaps it's the next step on your own evolutionary journey. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what we're doing is kind of irrelevant. It's how we're being in the process, who we are becoming, because we are the evolution. And when we listen deep, we close our eyes, and we allow the wisdom of the earth to come up through us, we know that she has all the answers. She has all the answers. She is calling to us. She's speaking through us. And we can trust what she has to offer us. The message that I get is we need to create some parallel systems. We need to create parallel systems in harmony with the wisdom of the planet. We need to take all of these resources that we can have access to through the old economy and bring them in to support our creating these parallel systems that we can step into when the shift happens. It's happening now. We're in it. It's going to keep happening. It might happen in a bigger way that has many of us feel uncomfortable. And when that happens, what do you most need? Will you need paper strips, silver, gold, an ATM card, money in the bank?